accelerate learning for every student. Now, I have put the date there on when this was released, just so you know this is an old concept. It's very, very new. So you may not have heard of some of our learning accelerators. So lovely to be here. My name is Andrew Bowser. I am a education success manager or customer success manager. It doesn't matter. Here at Microsoft, ex-HSC teacher for the Department of Education. So my role obviously is to upskill those that use Office 365 in classroom teaching and learning practice, right? That's why we're here. Help you learn. Help you help those that need to learn. So my contact details are on screen there. If you'd like to reach out, maybe you have any questions that are in relation to some of the products that we have. I'd also like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land which we meet today. I'd like to acknowledge the role of elders past and present, their Aboriginal importance to Australia. I'm presenting to you from a Wapaka land here in Newcastle. Now, today, we're going to focus on learning accelerators, okay? And our lovely CEO at Microsoft, as of February, said this wonderful quote: "There is no better time to reimagine education and how technology can support transformation." And I'm going to cover today exactly that, some of the tools that really reinforce that statement. So we're going to have a quick look at the changing needs of K-12. That really provides some context about where and why Learning Accelerators came about. Now, you know we have instructional tools. You know we have Word and PowerPoint and Teams and Excel. We call them instructional tools. What we currently didn't have, well, that doesn't really make sense, but what we didn't have and what we currently do have, let's say, are more coaching and progress applications within those instructional tools. Okay, so developing reading fluency, developing literacy needs, developing numeracy needs if you're using OneNote, or literacy if you're using Word, for example, or if you're engaging in meetings, as students will and currently do for tutoring or within the current workforce or future ready workforce. What are those core skills they need to develop? We're adding an extra layer to Office 365 to help coach them about how to use those tools for learning, but also for real world practice when they enter the workforce. So very exciting. We're going to look at some challenges, and then we're really going to have a look at those tools themselves. I'm going to do a lot of live demos in the short amount of time that we have to introduce to you what the learning accelerators are. Now, they're not all fully rolled out. I just want to put an asterisk there. Some of them are already here, right? And they're currently being expanded. And I'll talk about what's currently here and what is getting added to, okay? Like our numeracy coach, not quite here yet, but we do have elements of that trickling out across Office, right? So the needs of K-12 in education are changing, okay? There's some very interesting stats that you can actually see here. 70% of teachers believe technology will help them be more effective post the pandemic, right? Post 2020, the world has changed. I see it as a teacher. I see it when I'm working in schools, right? Technology does play a role with our learning. Now, we have more students accessing content outside of a synchronous learning environment in an asynchronous setting, even though they attend school every day, which is really interesting, right? 71% of principals think there's great value in digital tools. Hopefully, also your dices do believe in the value of technology as digital tools. And of course, 80% of workplace malware attacks are encountered by K-12 education all the time, right? So we're going to show you how using Office 365 is a very secure way to protect your data as well, because a lot of these learning coaches and accelerators do involve students becoming a bit more engaged with the technology. So you need to be, I guess, re-advised that the technology and the data is secure to your tenant, right? Microsoft has some of the strongest security in the industry, which is really, really nice. Right. So a big path to accelerated learning. I remember these day and age. Yeah, I still do it at Swansea High. We have a laptop trolley per faculty. Okay. We don't have one-to-one devices. We don't have a BYD program. So we're in a way, we were and still are kind of before 2020 with access to technology. And then we went through a remote learning era that you can see there, right? Where we had to ensure that students had access to technology outside of a school environment. And we did see a lot of inequality to access to tech. All right. Now, today, we're more or less back on site, but we do have elements of that remote learning era where students are still learning outside of the classroom, but just as importantly, still learning inside the classroom. Teachers don't have the time like they did before. The workloads have a huge increased amount on their shoulders. So we developed some tools to help accelerate student learning for independent aspects, right? So yes, teacher still is in the classroom trying to aid 30 students. But what happens when those students need to go and learn when they're not in that synchronous setting? Because again, COVID did change the way they access technology and how they access information outside of school. So that brings us to our lovely learning accelerators, okay? And there's obviously a lot of challenges with personalized learning because that's what learning accelerators aim to achieve, right? So you can actually see here, there's a nice little asterisk there around some of the research and the outcomes and the effects that we've actually had around the challenges of personalized learning. We had to solve a lot of these challenges, okay? And we did this in 4 distinct ways. Have a look at the core components, the accessibility solutions, the instructional tools that they have access to, and the learning accelerators. These 4 components, pillars, you all have access to, okay? And I'll talk about what they are in this lovely graph, right? So you can see our 4 pillars to make sure that students do have a very effective and personalized learning experience. Today, I'll concentrate on the learning accelerators. I feel for those joining in today, you know our instructional tools, okay? You've heard of Teams, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. As an educator, it was great that students had access to those instructional tools, but they didn't have the knowledge on what those tools could do for them in terms of personalizing their learning. That's where the teacher had to come in and make sure the lesson was personalized, differentiated, right? Now we have our learning accelerators to take some of the stress off the teachers. So they still obviously have to personalize the experience, but each student's tailored needs can even be personalized deeper using these instructional tools, which is really fantastic. And of course, our third pillar, making sure all of those tools and learning accelerators have accessibility solutions. So immersive reader, reading coach, translation, narration, voice typing and dictation, and live captions, for example. And then our core components is ensuring that you are using more or less some of the Microsoft ecosystem to build upon that. It doesn't matter if you're a Mac user or you have a Chromebook, but you will get obviously a better support network if you're using Microsoft ecosystem because Windows 10, 11 has the accessibility center built in, for example. Windows 10, 11 has the closed captions, the color filters, the magnifier, it builds upon a lot of these aspects here. Okay, so yes, the last is not absolutely fundamental, but again, you do get a bit of experience from the biased Microsoft kid that is presenting, right? We did mention security is a huge thing, especially in this day and age. You've seen everyone get hacked. Every corporation seems to get hacked in this day and age, whether it's, a certain health company or a certain telecommunications company. We ensure that, if you're using, obviously, Microsoft products, we have some of the most advanced security aspects. I'm not here to talk to you about security, but if you need more information about that, we have lovely personnel within our team that can dive a bit deeper for your admin team, for your admin staff. That maybe you've gone through a recent attack or maybe is a bit concerned about data, do reach out to us. We are huge on accessibility and inclusion. All of our Office 365 have accessibility and inclusion aspects. And of course, so do those core components. So Windows has an accessibility center, for example. Windows 11 has an ease and access center. So if you are using Windows, you can reach out to us and say, hey, we're not particularly using Office 365, but we're using Windows for other aspects of learning. Can we have some, PD or some awareness around how to make our learning on Windows more accessible? Because that's our core OS. So that does add to the value of supporting students. So again, that's obviously pillar number 3. Pillar number 2, working our way backwards, are those instructional tools that you use for teaching and learning, right? So Teams, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote that we have there, Forms, Stream, Whiteboard, Minecraft Education, it goes on. And they're there to make learning easier, right? They're for online and offline productivity. They're there for synchronous and asynchronous learning. And now they have some enhanced capabilities, which you've probably seen with our creation suite, obviously to make things a bit more creative and immersive with Microsoft Flip. okay, as in Flipgrid. We have Microsoft Stream 2.0, which is fantastic. Clipchamp, our video editing service, which is coming to enterprise around August, just FYI. You can still access it now, right? But you have to log in with your education account, but soon it'll be in the office, right? The office waffle. That's basically what I'm alluding to. Same with Microsoft Designer, right? So yeah, your suite is growing for students and teaching staff at a nice rate in terms of instructional tools. However, the latest layer to add above the instructional tools that we've been using, since Office 2013, 2016, 2019, and now we're Office 365, are our learning accelerators within those apps. This is where I get really excited as an educator because, yes, it's great to have Office apps, but unless you had a teacher showing the students exactly how to increase the font size or how to turn on text to read with all these menus and drop downs and do that again and again and again, it was a barrier. It was a barrier to help them accelerate their learning, okay? So we divide our learning accelerators into 3 categories. We have our foundational, our future ready, and of course our data. So we know where to kind of focus our attention with the learning for student needs, okay? So I'm going to talk about each of these. Some of these you already know because they currently exist. Some of these are getting folded into the wider Office 365 suite. So we're going to talk about Reading Progress and Reading Coach. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm going to show it again because there's some very cool updates coming there. I'm going to talk about Microsoft Reflect for social emotional learning. I'm going to show you some screen grabs of our new Math Progress and Numeracy Coach. Very cool, right? I'm going to show you some screenshots, I guess some live demos if you want, of Search Progress and Coach and where all the analytics go for information literacy. Really important, this one here, about teaching students how to find information, academic sources, and also cipher out information in this day and age where they're bombarded with sources in a very effective manner, right? That's super cool on what it presents to the educator and what you can turn on or off as a classroom teacher, right? Keeping them in that, I guess, that learning accelerator mode rather than just opening up a separate Google browser and clicking on the first link that they see, right? And then using that to research, because that's not teaching them information literacy. Then I'm going to show you some cool new Speaker Progress and Coach apps. You've seen some of this in PowerPoint already, and some new Education Insights. Education Insights Premium is now free, right? That probably means nothing to you. What that means, right, to your IT team is that there used to be a paid version of Insights, which had heaps of functionality that you didn't get. Like Insights is very powerful. They made that free recently to everyone, right? So I can kind of show you what unlocks at a very low level. I don't want to bore you, but what unlocks from a teacher point of view, and I'll just let the admins know that the premium Insights is now free because that allows them to kind of group, schools and organizations into a dashboard and see them holistically rather than looking at class levels, right? So some very interesting things. So what are progress and coaching apps? Mr. Bowser, right? And I'll make sure you get a copy of this slide. So you can see here, progress apps, left-hand side here. They're using Teams for Education, right? As our, I guess, it's not a learning management system. It's a holistic learning experience, right? Whether you're staff or whether you're a student, right? To send apps to students and progress across skills and generate insights. Now, there is a key there, right? It does feed into Teams for Education. That's really important because it needs to collect the insights. So Search Coach, for example, right? Teams for Education, Reading Progress, Teams for Education, Reading Coach, Teams for Education, which you have, by the way. Numeracy Coach will be in Teams for Education and Speaker Coach will be in Teams for Education. Again, you've seen elements of these in the separate instructional apps. We're bringing them into one education hub. Now, they can still use Rehearsal Coach in PowerPoint. Okay, they can still use Immersive Reader when looking at a Word document, but they had to jump between different apps to do different things, right? This is all of that educational experience, all of those progress apps in one spot. And they're going to make it very education friendly, by the way. Very soon you'll be able to set themes to your teams. Kids can kind of customize their experience. Very cool. And then we have coaching apps, which will provide real-time support for students, tailored support for students using AI. Now, this is not Copilot or anything crazy It's just some very smart, like for example, what words are they stumbling on, right? Say if I say bicycle instead of physical geography, it will pick the word bicycle, right? Again, you can turn certain things on and off from an admin level, but they are to help students, right, become more efficient with their learning rather than me running around with a timer and a stopwatch doing running levels, right, and checking their fluency. 30 kids at a time, 45 minutes. Do the mathematics. Okay. So this is what it looks like. An educator creates an assignment, right, using Teams. Student completes the assignment. Educator reviews the assignment that they may share with the student, and educator tracks progress. So again, you are sending them out an assignment or a piece of coursework, and then that will feed through our lovely little system there and give you a bunch of coaching, or give the student a bunch of coaching and you some great analytical data. I'll show you what it looks like. All right. So the first one I'm going to look at is reading progress and reading coach. Okay. I'm sure you've seen reading progress. Reading coach is relatively new. Okay. But where we're going with this is amazing. It's amazing. Right. And I'm going to show you this. So reading progress and reading coach is designed to help students build confidence. Now, the only way that you can send a student, obviously, a reading passage is if you go to Teams, assignments, and then you assign them a new reading progress. Hence why, you use Teams and you use the assignments feature. We want to make sure everyone is in the one spot, right? That's break down the barriers, keep it super simple. The kids know how to use the one product. Away they go, right? So you can see some information there. I'm going to show you this live because I think that's way more important. And then we'll talk about speaker coach. So sorry if you're watching the recording, my background would have just gone black just then. Here we are in Microsoft Teams. Okay, I'm an educator. I would like to use some of these progress apps. Maybe I'd like to measure the reading fluency of my students, I should say. I'm going to go into a team that we have here already. Okay. I'm going to go to our assignments. We've redone all of our assignment tabs, by the way, which is super cool. Ready to grade, past due, return, drafts. Plus, we have a brand new assignment creation tool. Look at this. Very nice. Out of the scope of today's session. But this is where I would go to assign a new reading progress passage, right? So I can test their literacy fluency, okay? And this is where Reading Coach will come into it, right? This is our very first progress app around literacy. So I can import a Word or PDF, or I can browse the sample library powered by ReadWorks where there's 400 already, like let's have a look at the camping trip, already designed passages where I can tailor the reading level per my state, per my organization if I select this passage here, all right? And this is also where you would turn on Reading Coach, okay? So Reading Coach is really powerful now, and I don't know if you've seen Reading Coach, but again, this is part of our progress apps. So when the student does complete the assessment, right, it will flag the words in where they stumbled with fluency and then teach them or coach them, right, how to make, I guess, the pronunciation of that word, what that word means. And then soon we have comprehension coach, because we know reading fluency isn't solely just graded on speed and accuracy. There's many different elements that you utilize to measure reading fluency, right? So soon we'll have a comprehension coach, which I'll show you very soon, which is very cool. We have a reading coach, and we have a reading fluency, right, tool. Now, these are assistive tools. I just want to make that clear. Teachers still has to be involved every step of the way. They're here to save teachers time. You don't have to use them. You can tailor them. You don't feel comfortable with them, you can turn it off, hence the dials, turn off Reading Coach, don't require video, right? You don't even have to send them or use, obviously, these foundational apps if you don't want to, right? So there's Reading Coach. Let me turn on my speaker there. You can change the voices. So we can have Jenny multilingual. We can select an Australian local voice, which is really nice. Show the tools, spread the word out, show a picture of what the word's referring to. That's Reading Coach. We'll talk about that as we go through. Now, what does this look like when you've assigned it to a student? Okay. Obviously, I can set the number of attempts. the time limit, the the pronunciation sensitivity, I should say, whether they need a video. But let's actually have a look at what it looks like from a student perspective, right? Which is really interesting. So the first thing that happens is that the immersive reader experience turns in, right? So that turns in or on, I should say, for a student. So they get that immersive reader experience, which is one of our accessibility tools. I'm probably not going to show that right now because I'm sure you've seen immersive reader. If not, I'll quickly flick that up. But let's have a look at Ashley. Ashley submitted a reading progress assignment where we're testing Ashley's reading fluency. We have a lot of AI that's going to help us understand what Ashley submitted here. Okay, so let's have a quick look-see. Here's the video of Ashley reading. All right. The AI has flagged certain words that Ashley stumbled on. So I can hit play here. Let's go, Ashley. Let's see how you went.
The study of Earth's landforms is called physical geography.
All right. Physical, not physical. So the AI has flagged that as a mispronunciation. Okay. Again, you don't want AI within this. If you want to manually mark this, just like you did in a synchronous setting, you can do that, right? You can go through and do that and use this as a digital tool to send out obviously 30 reading passages to your students at once. Or you can have some assistance to have the AI identify where Ashley has really struggled with self-corrections, omissions, repetition. So I can see we kind of set Ashley up here because I put the word in twice, but it's a repetition or self-correction there. So I can click on geography, jump to word.
Geography is one of the combination of factors that people use.
It was a self-correction. There you go. So it actually got that right. It's really good, I must say, but you can go through and override that if you want, right? So you can actually see here, we can edit the passage now or insert words as we go through or make changes to that within reading progress. We can jump to the word that Ashley's reading. We can now even send Ashley back a report, right? Full report, simplified report, a custom report. If Ashley maybe has some learning anxiety, I can choose what Ashley can get a report on, if she gets a report at all, right? Now, as Ashley reads that, it will give me some great data, right? The correct words per minute, the accuracy rate. I can send Ashley a video feedback. Great work, Ashley. You're doing fantastic. I can attach a rubric, okay? But what happens then is that when I return that to Ashley, it's going to coach Ashley on some of these reading issues, right? That she has. And again, you can turn this stuff on or off, right? So what happens with that information once a student does some work with a progress app, such as, reading progress? This is our new AI Insights Infused dashboard, which you have now too. This is what I mean by Insights Premium. It's amazing. There's so much data here about what the students are doing, okay, about our progress app. So you can see Search Coach up there, right? But we're looking at reading progress. That's our first app. I am conscious of time, so I will be going through this at speed. Right. Now, assumingly I've sent this out to not only Ashley, but a number of students, and I can see the challenging words that the AI has picked up, right? Stick, watch, because, aspect, how many times they struggled with those words, 4,508 throughout the year, okay? And then the average words per minute, the accuracy rate, the assignments per student, right? The reading accuracy for the mispronunciations, omissions, the insertions here, average words per minute, right? The phonics rules are now here. So if you're struggling, I actually had a speech therapist when I was young because I couldn't get the tongue at the top of my mouth to say some of these words. But you can actually see here now, we can break the words up into constants and into vowels, right? So we can actually have a look at if actually struggling with that bicycle, that sound that she has, that will be flagged in the phonics. And we actually can create a phonics assignment that will build words that have that sound to help Ashley, really nail the pronunciation or her phonics rules. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. Okay. So yes, we have our word cloud. Now, I can create a challenge assignment, right, based on the words that the students are struggling with, okay? So I can select which words I would like to be in the challenge assignments. And then again, you've got some AI saying we recommended for practice based on data of students with similar reading challenges, right? So the AI can kind of build a list of challenging words, send them back to the student, say, hey, these are the words that we want Reading Coach to help you perfect, right? Really, really cool stuff. Same thing with the phonics rules. So I can select some phonics. So for example, Matt, right, that sound, or this with a right sound, tip with a t sound. So I'm going to select those words, click create assignment, and it's going to come up with some words that have the phonics within them, like thanks, right? Or withstand, right? Really cool stuff that actually is in these progress apps and coaching apps, right? And obviously lots of different filters that you can do here. Now, on Ashley's side, I'd love to show you, but I'd have to log into a student account. Reading Coach will come up and have the pictures, have the immersive reader, have the way to pronounce the word, break up the words, as you saw right at the start there. I do have to keep going on because we'll run out of time. But I can go into, obviously, the literacy and the Reading Coach applications when we do have more time in maybe a dedicated session, right? Now, to get you excited, I'm going to bring this across. Where is this going? As I mentioned before, there's more to reading fluency than obviously phonics, mispronunciations, omissions, accuracy, speed. Soon, we're bringing expression into our coaching app here, right? So you can see reading fluency is composed of 3 pillars: speed, accuracy, and expression. The initial version of reading progress, we argue that. We say there's more elements in there, which they agree with, but I guess this is just a blog post. We've got here the initial version of reading progress, auto detect, help track reading speed and accuracy. But historically, an educator needs to listen to each student independently to gauge their expression, which is true, still do, right? With our forthcoming expression update, reading progress will automatically identify students' performance based on aspects of prosody, including monotone reading, long pauses, not pausing for a period or a comma, voice inflection for question marks or explanation marks, and even the stress of multiple syllable words. Like, wow. This is what it looks like, as you can see here. So it's going to have the skipped punctuations, the unexpected pauses, and you can see accuracy, expression, comprehension. All right. So our progress app is evolving. Our literacy, progress, and coaching apps are evolving to be something quite stellar. And this is what the comprehension coach more or less will look like. So the AI will use the power of forms to have a look at the passage. Whoa, we're looking a little bit too close there. Have a look at the passage that you've just assigned and then develop questions to test their comprehension of what they've just been reading, right? Using AI to help you, or you can manually make them. Again, it's like flicking those toggles. You have the choice. And, they've just read what is physical geography. You can make questions with AI assistants of what are landforms sometimes called? Is it physical features? Is it canyons and lakes? Is it just to test or gauge more or less their understanding of what they actually are reading? Amazing, right? Absolutely amazing. I can't spend any more time on this one progress app because there's more. There's more. So let's jump on over to Search Coach while we're here, right? So the second one is Reflect, but we'll talk about that in a second because I'm sure you've heard of Reflect before. I'll talk about some updates we have in Reflect. I am conscious of time. Let's jump on over to Search Coach, right? Now, Search Coach, let me bring my lovely window up here. Search Coach. Let me go into a class, a channel here. All right. Search Coach is an app, again, a coaching app to help students understand information literacy and ensure that they're searching accurate and credible sources, right? So at the top of a team channel, I should say, you press the plus icon, you can add Search Coach as a coaching app. All right. So there's Search Coach, right? This is available to you now, right? You don't have to wait on this. here's Search Coach here. Here's a video that explains what Search Coach is, but you can see here, finding reliable sources becoming increasingly challenging, making it ever more vital skills for learners. Search Coach provides context and guidance to students who ask effective questions and discover trustworthy sources. Search modifying tools, targeted tips, and customizable filters provide students with opportunities to practice effective search habits in a safe and free environment, right? So I'm going to show you what it looks like. All right, like lots of great marketing buzz there, but it really is cool because it's so educator focused that I can turn on and off different elements that help, that aids in coaching students to search. So you can actually see here, how is it different than a search engine? No ads, reliability and trust ratings of the sources that they're looking at, search tips on every screen. So for example, if they write in, why is cats better than dogs? It will pop up and say, you know what, the way that you worded that, you're most likely going to get an unbiased response, right? What you should do, if you're looking for a, a constructive response that does look at the differences between are cats better than dogs, right? You should phrase it this way. Like that's how it works. It's really quite incredible. We've got supported filtering in there. Safe search is enabled. It's customizable per class. So if you, cater to different search requirements to what, say, stage 4, 5, and 6 will require. All right, so let's add that in. Run down our time, Bowser. Let's check it out. And it's just here in Teams. So I'll make this full screen here, right? It's a search engine specific to students built in Teams. So they're staying in the one spot. And you've got these search tips of the day, which pop up, which is really interesting. But I want to click on class settings, right? On the right here. And let's make this a bit more friendly for our students. So we're bringing the ability to add a custom background, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to apply a pretty background, right, to make this nice. And then you can see here, customize Search Coach for this class. Only educators have access to these settings. To introduce search skills over time, you can choose to disable some filters until your class is ready. So do I want to inform them about the domain? Tell them about what site is it from? Like, is it from Wikipedia? How reliable is that? We know what Wikipedia is. It's community endorsed or community contributed. Everything can't be trusted on Wikipedia. What are the file type, right? Do you want to look for a specific file format? I like PDFs. They're locked down, right? Generally, I don't trust open source documents. Do you want a date range? When you're searching, kids will click on sources that were from 1999 about global warming. A lot has changed since 1999. They don't even know. They don't even know when the article was published, right? Operators, right? Using such words as and or to make your search a bit more specific. Optional filters that we have here. Fact check. This is a new one, right? I actually haven't seen fact check. Discover what professional fact checkers have to say about your topic. Interesting. Or create your own filters, right? Which is great. So you can create a list of sites of your own choosing. So I've seen educators pick 4 reliable sites that will only search through rather than give you everything on the big bad web, right? So if you have just your school site or maybe, the World Wildlife Foundation and maybe an educational site around deforestation, you just want them to search those 3 sites to find information literacy, you can do that, right? No other site or search program will allow you to do that from non-tenant level. So let's click apply. Let's turn all of them on. That's great. So I could put in here, are cats better than dogs? Okay, hit enter. And you can actually see here, you've got reliability, right? Which will come, this is a demo tenant, by the way, so you're not going to get all of those information. The domain, right? Last crawled, okay, as in, how often is it getting accessed right here? The search tip that you can see here, searches that use comparisons of language like better, because that's what I used, right? Then can result in opinions that sound like facts. Sometimes an operator can help. For example, is sugar good for you? Will most likely return results that say it is good, which is true. Sugar and health returns less biased results. So it's like, okay, right. Again, you can tailor this to your heart's content depending on what students are searching for. Maybe I don't want them to search 50 sites. Maybe I'm curating a list of sites for information literacy. I love this. Best Life, 15 Reasons Why Cats Are Better Than Dogs. Right, last call today. And NewsGuard. which is really interesting. So, you know, you can have a look at the credibility. Does not repeatedly publish fake content. Gathers and presents information responsibly, right? Website discloses ownership. Great. This website mostly adheres to basic standards of credibility and transparency. Fantastic. Out of all them, probably going to go for this one. I'm going to say, you know, I'm searching, I'm querying, I'm having a look at my information. It was last checked today. It's coming from insider.com. It's got a great reputation around transparency, but I'd probably take this search tip, refine my search to get better results, right? And you can actually see here, this is what the students can do is turn certain things on or off. This is student facing. So, you know, how old is that information from NewsGuard? I want information from the past month, actually, around a cat's better than dogs, right? So you can send, it's filtered that out, and now we've got a different website. So this article that's just gone up on Yahoo, crawled 8 days ago, that just got posted in the last month, right? So anyway, Search Coach is absolutely fantastic, but as an educator, this is where the power comes in. Now, it's great for coaching students and informing them about credible and reliable sources, but the information about what students are searching for and how they're searching comes across to you as a teacher, right? So if you're doing assignment prep, for example, and you want them to use this tool to prep for their assignment, you can see how many searches the students are attempting to, you know, to gauge their learning in terms of information literacy. Did they open the first result that popped up like they always do? Right? No search results open. They didn't even click on anything and went somewhere else to go and get their information. Naughty, naughty. So you can actually see here the information that comes through. You can dial deeper into this. So, for example, what search filters are they using to actually check their source? Because, you know, let's face it, I'd love to say you can trust that they're going to use, you know, date range and domains. They don't know what they don't know. So this is where you educate them and say, I want to make sure that you're using the correct operator so you don't get biased opinions. I want to make sure that it's recent, this year, right? And if they go, oh, yeah, I did it, you actually can go in, Tommy, go in and have a bit of a look exactly in what they're using, most common domains. What are their search terms, right? What are they actually using to search for? In terms of terminology. So, you know, reforestation, right? Initiative. So there's some great insights there. That is Search Coach. That will lead me to Learning Coach number 3, because it's 4:28. I've got 10 minutes or 15 minutes, Mr. Bowser, more or less. Right. And I'm not sure am I going to be able to show this? Let's have a look at Reflect. Let me pick a different team here. I'm using our demo one, but if demo going to work, let's bring this up. So Reflect, social, emotional learner. It's going to work in my demo one. So let me do this. Reflect.ms. If you've never heard of Reflect, it's our social, emotional learning tool. All right. Build self-awareness and empathy, grow emotional vocabulary, identify and navigate your emotions, develop a growth mindset and confidence. I'm going to show you again this live, probably not in my demo environment because demo won't work. So I'll use a real environment. Reflect has changed quite a lot, right? We've turned it more into a self-expression coaching experience. Some of the feedback we got was there's too many vocab words, especially for K-2. Like there was like 50 expressions you could pick. I'm excited, eccentric, I am, etc., time 50 times. There's a lot of great tailorable aspects that you can do with Reflect. But again, all of that information will be fed one-stop shop into your new insights dashboard so you can see exactly how are they reflecting about their reading progress, about their search coach, about their assignment, right? How are they feeling about that? You can filter that to how they're feeling, you know, today, how they're feeling about the consumption of work, how they're feeling last 7 days, right? Identify automatically with the AI which students need assistance, okay? Which students are skeptical, stressed, which students are feeling happy, not confident, right? Which students might need more support. And obviously the AI will help you here in detail, right? So I can see poor Maria here. Yesterday she was happy, May 23rd, annoyed and glad. So I could actually dive in a little bit deeper into Maria. And if you're using Notebook, class Notebook, you can actually put reflects into your OneNotes now, right? So when you send work out, they can reflect. Now, we do have a new update coming to assignments. where we're going to put reflect in exit tickets. So when they hand in an assignment, it will more or less give them the option to reflect as an exit ticket, right? Which is super powerful. So, you know, how did they go with their reflection? How did they go with their exit ticket there? Now, I'm just going to bring up this right here. I'm just going to go to teams.microsoft.com to quickly show you some of the new features in Reflect. Let me bring this up. This is a non-demo tenant situation. I think I have a real class, not a real class, but like a training class that isn't showing a demo. It has no students in there, so all good. But I'll show you what that process looks like, right? Because it's quite cool. Yeah, okay, great. Let's do this one, hospitality. Click on Reflect. Okay. And then on the Reflect page, oh, it's going to let me. I think it's still loading. You're going to let me reflect? Load up. Da, da, da. Yeah, okay, good. So from here, you have recent check-ins. So if you're using new check-ins again and again and again, you don't have to keep creating them. But you can actually see, we can explore check-in ideas here now. So you can get ideas on what types of reflect questions you should be asking students. Now, this will coach students by giving them a reflection journal, which is pretty cool. So they can map their progress over time. So I can have a look at how's your connection going with your peers in class. So I can put my own question if I want in there. I can tailor where the students see responses but not names. I can choose if there's more than 50 emotional words for, you know, older students, or make it simplified for younger students. I can actually have a look at the Reflect calendar now, okay, where we can have a look at how my students are feeling on average, depending on what I'm giving them or how they're reflecting. And I love this one. If you've got little ones, they're going a bit crazy, let's chill out for a second, right? Put this on the front of the board, breathe, settle them down, right? Get them to kind of take a breath, explain the logic and the instruction again, and get them to take a time out there as well, right? So we can create this check-in. I will post it to a channel that will send that out there, right? So I'll send that out right there. And then you can actually see some of these new features here, like class activities, take a breathing break, reflect on an emotion board, explore trends that are happening with your class, right? So I love the emotion board, which is pretty cool. So there's all these different emotions that kids can pick depending on what you pick. Remember, I left it on 50. So it's very playful. I think it's a good thing for teams to bring this down a notch, especially for the little ones here. So you can download an emotional board kit if you want to physically do this. You don't have to rely on the tech, right? You can build an emotional board. You can collect students' responses in the classroom. You don't have to use I mean, it is a coaching app. It's designed digitally, but we make sure that there are offline, obviously, resources that you can do here. And then you can collect the responses, put them in here to using our emotional board kit and upload them. If you want to, you know, collate that data and have the AI click in there, right? So together mode is here too. So all the students will come up on like a podium and you can put that in the front of the class. And you can really concentrate on who needs assistance and why the class may be struggling from a social emotional point of view, and maybe give more direct instruction or more focus on certain areas. So Reflect is very cool on that one. Now, I will talk about insights real quick because the numeracy coach only have screenshots, and the speaker coach, I'll have a few screenshots due to the interest in time that we have. The fourth one are the insights that we actually have here. So again, your new premium insight board. It's had an overview. It's got a lot of information in here now. You can see all of your students that you have here. We've got digital activity, assignments, reading progress for literacy needs, reflect. Soon you'll have speaker coach in here as a progress app. Soon you'll have math coach in here, or mathematics coach, right? And then you obviously have search coach. It's becoming quite an AI-infused one-stop shop. You have these spotlight cards. 5 students need more support. Gabrielle Woods was often late, right? Forrest was often late. Glorious. All students submitted Romeo and Juliet. 2 students were inactive. They didn't do their homework. They didn't check in. Hannah Jarvis didn't even click on the assignment. Even if they're suffering from an emotional point of view, like they're struggling, it will be flagged here. Like it looks like Monday's reading task was a challenge, right? A lot of kids stumbles, right? Your reading progress is feeding that information in, saying, hey, as an educator, a lot of challenging words here. You need to have a look at some of this data. You can click on that and that will dial that in. We can have a look at the average class grades. We've changed how grading works in teams. You can now set weighted grading categories, right? You can now set average grades. There's new rubric system coming in. You can have a look at recent turn-in statistics now. So missed submissions, submitted late, returned for revisions. Maybe students didn't quite hit that mark, right? We can get the assignment report. Okay. And I love this. This is new. Resources accessed, right? So if you're putting your information in Teams, right, and sending an assignment out that has, you know, something that's a reference material, are they accessing them? Are they accessing the reference materials that you're giving them? Okay. So, yeah, very cool. That's coming very soon, right? The resources that are accessed with the assignment. There's just so much here for you to play and keep informed with how your students are going. I'm so excited as an educator. Like, here's the challenging words. Here's the reflect cards. This is all AI infused. Here's the students of Teams activity. Could be here forever, showing you what insights. I feel naked without insights when I teach now, right? Even if I'm in the classroom, right, in a synchronous setting, I know students are checking in or accessing my resources outside of a school environment. All right, I have about 5 minutes, I think, Stephen. Right, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, cool. Let's jump back to the deck, okay, and talk about 2 more of those apps, which I won't show live because you've more or less seen Speaker Coach. You've seen it in PowerPoint, the rehearse with Coach, but I'm going to show you some slides there just in the interest of time. The Learning Accelerators are awesome. Like, they're absolutely awesome. So let's have a look at our PowerPoint here. And again, if you want a more tailored session, okay, we can focus on just one app if there's a demand for it. You know, literacy, numeracy, Speaker Coach, Insights. I think Insights is an important one. Just do a full hour just on that, right? This is more just to keep you aware, okay? So I love this. This is like, we hear teachers say this, with this technology, like having 20 extra teachers in the room, right? We actually have heard this from good old Aussie teachers too that have been playing around some of our progress apps. Here's some good screenshots of Speaker Coach, which will be in Insights, which will be as part of your assignment package in Teams for Education, just like I was sending reading progress out. You can send Speaker Coach assessments out that are tied to work that you've already tying in here. So this is what the dashboard will look like. Very student friendly. So we'll give a recording of the student that you can see there if they're practicing reading what you're giving them, like it could be a PowerPoint or it could be a Word document or whatever. It's not reading progress, put it that way. It's more for students that are presenting, right, some information to a cohort, or they're making a pitch, or they're doing a speech, or whatever it may be, right, especially for older students. And it gives them all sorts of data, right? Accuracy rate, pitch, tone, originality, sensitive geopolitical references. Are they reading from the slides? Are they not paraphrasing? Do they know their content? It coaches them, okay? Are they using filler words, right? So you can actually see here, I'll use my laser pointer. Develop future-ready public speaking skills anywhere, anytime. Receive immediate feedback and coaching. So they get that the moment they do the practice before they submit something in, right? They can choose to kind of, practice before they hand something in. Improve in areas such as filler words, repetition, reading from the screen, inclusiveness. Speaker progress is coming later in 2023 into Teams as an app. Right, Speaker Coach is a light bulb tool for a lot of students. The ability to practice and get real-time feedback is where it really helps students and even as adults. Where I guess reading progress is more for assessing reading fluency, right? It's more for learning how to say the words and if they're reading the content. Speaker Coach is more about the charismatic ability of becoming an effective speaker for presentations, for the workforce, for presenting a concept to a class, making sure, like we have people here at Microsoft that always use the word as a filler word, right? Or that. And once you use these tools, like it's built into Teams right now. If you go into language and speech on the 3 dots, you'll see the option to turn on speaker coach for yourself. And you'll see the dashboard that you get when you go to meetings, right? It always pulls me apart for speaking too fast. But they give me these strict time limits, so it's not my fault. So as we go through, I want to show you, we showed Search Coach, right? So I think we looked at that in enough detail here. So Search Coach really does surface the tools and information our students see. I think it's fundamental. I get really annoyed as an educator now when students use just Google and select the first thing and then run with it. Like it irritates me. We had a look at Reflect as a coaching app, so provide a space for feelings and emotions. Sorry, not a coaching app. Our foundation, our progress app that we have here for emotional cell abilities. Bring emotions to life with the feeling monsters, build self-awareness and empathy, developing emotional granularity by expanding emotional vocab, right? And then, of course, we have, did I put it in here? Oh, I didn't put it in here. We have our numeracy coach as well, which I'll give you a sneak peek at that, right? Which I don't think I have a slide in here, but I will just bring that up on screen super fast right now. So there's the education insights. I love the education insights as an educator. Nothing comes close to education insights for me. And the fact that it ties in with all our coaching apps is absolutely sensational. All right, let me quickly show you this last screen grab if I can bring it up, and I'll show you, let me share my screen, what the numeracy coach looks like, because you can't have literacy without numeracy, surely. Let's bring that up. I did remove it because it wasn't out yet fully, but I will put it back in there. Do I have it? Maybe. Okay, maybe I don't. Maybe I don't have it. But I tell you what, when we do have an example of numeracy coach, I will bring it in. I'll just go back to this slide here. It looks very similar to speaker coach, but it'll have lots of information around numeracy, right? About how they're solving the equation, how they're solving the problem, how much assistance did they need? Are they using the accessibility tools, the math latex tools? Are they understanding what the journey is to the answer? Because they can't just put the answer in without understanding how they got to the answer. And that's what it will help coach them on, right? You can't just be like 4 + 4 is 8. Why is it 8? How does addition work, right? So that's where it will coach. So really, really, really powerful stuff. Now where to next, right? My last minute that I have. We have some resources here if you'd like to know more about the Learning Accelerators. We have the Reimagine Education event, which I'll make sure Stephen and the team get this slide, which goes through Learning Accelerators. We have more reading progress and other interactive demos that you can view. Review Microsoft 365 together. Don't worry about that one. You already have Microsoft 365. And the Microsoft Learn has Learning Accelerators courses too, which you can do. And you can break them up into literacy or reading coach, and soon numeracy and search coach is already on there. Soon the speaker coach and the numeracy coach will also go on to learn there as well. But thank you so much. Reach out if you need anything. I'm Andrew Bowser. I'm here. That's a very tight, we just got through it, very tight hour. Thanks, Stephen. I appreciate that. Hopefully that works for your recording. Thanks, Haley, for editing this. Maybe slow me down a little bit, minus 5,000. Be awesome.
Minus 5,000. Thanks very much, Andrew. And on the screen there, hopefully that's all popping up on your screen. You can click on for the evaluation there. But thank you very much. We do have a couple of more. We do have a couple more Microsoft sessions for this CLO sessions and the summit. So just keep an eye on the CLO website for them and your whatever diocese you're in, and they will send some information out through their normal comms to you as well. So